my sales that suck. I have things that were good, and I'm going to share the deep and dark stuff of it. To everybody on the panel, let's just be clear one thing. Let's not share exact multiples. So if that question comes up, just fudge it and be like, oh, roughly a multiple of 7 to 9 or something. Don't give exact numbers or anything, and only answer this that nothing will ever get any of you in trouble, including myself. Okay, we clear? So we want to be real, but we won't negative talk anybody, because the last thing you would need is doing a panel and then have some bullshit person out there want to try coming after you for slander or some shit. So be cautious with your answers, but as real as you can. All right, Aaron, take it away.
All right, here we are. Thank you, panelists, for joining us. Everyone, let's give them a big welcome in the chat bar, please. It's really exciting. We got Jason, we got Gary, we got Michael and Daniel. Yes, lots of warm welcomes here. And just before we start, I want to give a couple of points of clarity. Well, Mike was already good about saying what to share and what not to share. I want to point out to everyone here on the call, if anyone here is a business owner, you all will exit someday. Like that's maybe Mike has even mentioned that already. Everyone here is going to exit. It just, we don't always exit in the same way, right? You might exit when you pass away. You might exit by handing the business to your family member. You might exit by shutting the business down, or you might exit by selling the business, exiting the business, and moving on. And that's really the focus of this panel. Everyone here has been in and participated in selling a company, and so that's the focus here. But I just wanted to make it clear for everyone that there are multiple ways to exit, but we're focusing here on selling the company. And I have a number of questions. We have 45 minutes. I'm going to not ask everyone every question because I don't think we're going to have the time. So I'm going to start. Let me see here. I'm going to start with Gary Lightfoot. And Gary, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but before you answer, I would love for you to just introduce yourself. So let me ask you the question. You say like I'm Gary, and then here's what I did, and then answer my question. All right. And then if anyone here is like Mike, I don't mind repeating the question 3 or 4 times if needed, if you kind of get distracted by the answers of other people. And everyone, please make sure you're putting in the chat bar your notes as you go, because we all win when we all share. All right. So Gary, let's start with you. Start at the very beginning. I want you to imagine back to when the deal closed. You signed the papers, and suddenly, magically, at some moment, the wire hit the bank. And we're not going to say what that wire was, but the wire hit. What was that moment like for you emotionally? So introduce yourself and then talk about that first experience.
All right. So, first of all, thank you for having me on. My name's Gary Lightfoot, and we had a family home service company, and I ran that company, and it was, like I said, family owned and operated. But I decided, like in 2014 or 2015, when I was kind of done with my kids coaching and doing all the dad stuff, that I had a decision to make. And the decision I made was to really grow a company. And so I really started searching what are the resources for really learning that. And that's where I met Mike A and team, and just really started implementing to get there. And so we did that. So to answer your question, it was amazing. It was a freeing feeling, and very emotional. I shared some of the sale with my family, both my brothers and my mom and dad. I made millionaires out of all three of them, and that is the best feeling ever, to be able to share that and change their lives.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that. That's great. Let me just ask you one quick question, just for clarity. What was the size of your business, like before you sold it, and then like after you sold as well?
Yeah, so in
Um,
2015,
yeah.
we were doing about 1.5 million. We'd been up and down in that area for years and years and years. And once I decided to go for it, we went from 1.5 to over $20 million in 2021. So 6 years.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, give them a boom, you guys. That was that's awesome. Really really great.
Thank you.
Cool. Jason Kirby, let's go to you next. I'd love to hear from you. Of course, give us a quick little intro. Give us a quick like sense of what was your business before and before and after. And then same question to you. Imagine that moment, the money hit the bank. How did you feel?
Thanks for the invite and thanks for the opportunity to come on and speak. Appreciate it. Love all you guys. My name is Jason Kirby. I created J&J Heating and Air, later rebranded it to be J&J Services. Grew it from basically a new construction residential and commercial company into a residential plumbing, electrical, heating and air, doing retail and stuff from what we learned being in CO Warrior. I would say the days leading up to that were pretty intense. It's almost like you're waiting for the other shoe to fall, and then when you see that money in your bank and you open it up and you've never seen that kind of money in your bank before, it was a very emotional roller coaster. There was excitement, there was fear, there was all kinds of stuff, just like, what do we do now? But it was definitely like letting a ton of bricks off your back and walking away. You felt like freedom. It was huge.
Great. Felt like freedom. That's great. What are you guys taking away from this so far from the first two people who shared? That's really neat. Felt like freedom. And then did we get I might have missed it. I was taking some notes here. Because I'm learning as much as I can while we go. But did you say your size before and after? I apologize if you did say it and I missed it.
No, I didn't. We were before we had even gotten CO Warrior, we weren't even $1 million company. We were pushing about 750,000. After being in CO Warrior for a couple of years, we got above 5 million. So we were big jump for us. And we joined CO Warrior in 2020. I exited in 2024. So in basically 3 years or so, we did a lot of that. So
that's amazing. That's really great. Gaines, I promise I'll get to you very shortly. I want to ask Mike a similar question, then we're going to circle back to on a couple other questions. So just laying the framework here so people, the panelists know kind of how I'm tracking. Mike, I'd like to ask you the same question. Let us know, obviously, most people know your story. It doesn't hurt for a quick recap. But we only have 40 minutes now. And I would love to know when that wire hit the bank, what was that moment like for you emotionally?
Yeah. Well, first I want to share I always do these things like create these panels and stuff and have these unexpected things. My unexpected thing is, first off, Gary and Jason, thank you for trusting me. And it's going to be tough for me. The unexpected thing is I didn't realize how emotionally this was going to end up for me. So I always end up with doing these things and saying to myself, what the fuck did I do to myself here? Because just hearing you guys even trust in me is very heart pulling for me. So thank you for your friendship and loyalty all this time. For me, it was actually, because I was already growing CO Warrior, it was a great release for me. It was almost like my soul was able to do what I was really born for, which was helping people win and suffer less. And gold medal was fun, and I don't know, maybe like Gary and even Jason, there is a point when you grow your business. It's not like you're financially struggling. You're probably more mentally struggling than financially. Not that there's not some up and downs. I felt mentally free from one thing to go the other one. So that was my big reward. You could have that 2 birds, 4 wings, but can't fly. I had gold medal and CO Warrior. So I felt like I was moving forward, but not flying free. I felt unlimited. Now, the bad thing was, this was funny. Some of you heard it. When I was waiting for the money, I don't know about Jason and Gary, I kept pushing the Wells Fargo button. And I told my business partner, I go, oh, the money's in my account, but I was lying. It wasn't in my account yet. And so he said, oh, mine too. And I said, what the fuck? I was just kidding. It wasn't in my account. And then I started calling everybody, panicking. So funny little story that never play cry wolf. That doesn't end up real well for you. So Great question, Aaron.
That's great. That's great. Awesome. Thank you guys. And everyone here, please put what was your big takeaway from that first question in here. I'm going to go on to the second question, and this time I'm going to pick on Gaines first. But make sure you put in your big takeaway from that first question. I want to know because as you guys answer what you're taking away, I'm shaping my questions. I have a list of questions, but I'm adjusting and I'm flowing as I need to. So feeling of peace and achievement. Yeah. Peace was a big one that came all the way through. Peace and achievement. State changing money wires. Yeah, absolutely, Art. Absolutely. Okay, good. Yeah, keep putting in your insights. I'm going to continue on here for sake of time. So, second question on Gaines. I'm going to come to you first, but I am also going to probably hit on two others here. Let me just find my second question. Many in this audience are still in the trenches, right? They haven't exited. They're still in the trenches. They're building their empires. So, Gaines, what do you wish that other business owners who you've seen exit, other business owners knew about wealth and freedom while they're still in that building phase? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Hello, everyone, Food Dog Nation. Mike, thank you for everything. And Aaron and the people at Food Dog, I appreciate this opportunity. And hello to everyone of my clients and affiliates and colleagues. So anyway, the key, I think, to success in business, what I've seen, and probably since COVID, we're part of about 20 exits, successful exits, which it's thrilling for me to see that and to be a small part of those exits. But the keys are, to me, is about planning, having a strategic business plan, executing on that plan, surrounding yourself with, great coaches, great mentors, great strategic advisors, whether it be, attorneys, consultants, marketing people, C-suite type level people, and really having a passion for what you do. So, business strategy is very important. It's not about just making money, but it's adding value to your business. That's the key. So you do have something to sell. You can make a lot of money, but it's really about the value. And that's, recurring revenue model. That's organic growth marketing. That's adding complementary services to your business and or acquisitions. So, we do a lot of merger and acquisition type work. We are that support team to, help those businesses grow, dial more into the numbers, create more efficiency, more profitability, more scalability. And then kind of miracles happen that we've seen, just the last 3 to 4 years. So, happy to be a part of it. And, those are some of the keys to success. There's so many, and it's just a journey going forward and, getting to the mountaintop. And like Mike said, cashing out. We have clients who've made it to that mountaintop, and they're on their 4th business already. So it just doesn't end. So you can't be afraid of selling. It's about, exiting and keep doing your thing.
Great question. Before I go on to the other panelists, Gaines, what's kind of a roadblock that you noticed during this phase? Like a roadblock that a lot of business owners here who are building their empires still, what's a roadblock that might actually hinder them from success later on in the sale?
I think its mindset is one of the biggest issues. You really have to commit to making a change. And oftentimes, we could have businesses, myself included. I've been in this business for 30 years, and maybe there's an aha moment at some point where you have to have a mindset change and maybe, think big, think with the end in mind and kind of reverse engineer and execution. So if you could reverse engineer and you have that mindset to say, I want to be $100 million business. And, how are we going to do it? Well, the industry says we should be at 20%. We aspire to be 25% EBITDA or net operating income percentage. Now, how are we going to get there? Okay, we're at 1 million now. So we need, I know you don't want to use multiples, Mike, but let's say there's a 10-time multiple in any type of business. Well, guess what? You have to get to 10 million. So then you break it down into its least common denominator. So it's really mindset is probably the biggest issue. Surrounding yourself again with a great team making sure people are incentivized properly, finding successful people and entrepreneurs who want to help you. You know, sometimes people want to pull you down. You gotta, you know, you gotta find a different circle of advisors, friends, family, who want to
Yeah.
make you successful, want to help you. And you can't do it
Great
all
answer.
yourself.
And Gaines, I just want to ask you real quick here. Not everyone knows you, so just give me a quick, like, the 2 sentence. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, Michael Gaines, CPA, Gaines and Associates PC. We've been a CPA firm for over 30 years. And, you know, typical CPA firm, we do asset protection, corporate structure, business consulting, tax minimization and tax strategy, financial statement prep, internal controls, all that kind of good stuff. And right before COVID, I guess with Mike and Mike A, that is, and through COVID and since COVID, we've evolved more into a consulting business, right? Where we do fractional CFO work. So we're really very proactive in helping the clients grow. We'll touch the client's business daily, weekly. We'll have, you know, a lot of check-in calls. Obviously, we'll have executive meetings on a monthly basis, and we'll really dig into the details. So we're part of their strategic advisory team, and that's been the game changer for us, and I want to say for our clients, because we've had some success with that. So, and then we also take them to exit. So we would do anything that needs to be done if it's not being done. Could be bookkeeping, could be payroll, all the way up to the exit, where we deal with investment bankers, private equity companies. You know, we go through quality of earnings, due diligence, and the ultimate exit to, you know, to the success point. So start to finish, that's kind of what we do, which is very rewarding for us and our team here, our boutique
Yeah.
company of 40 people now.
Awesome. Love it. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for that, Gaines. And
Thanks.
I'm
Thank
going to ask a similar question in a minute, but I want to go over, just give a little twist to the question. And I'm going to go to Jason Kirby first. And the question is going to be, Jason, while you were building and then exiting, so kind of the transition there, what do you wish that you had done differently? Maybe emotionally, personally, financially, like pick some aspect of your life. What do you wish you did differently from during the building to the exit?
One, get a coach faster. Join a coaching organization way early. Two, stop putting emotion in the business. It's data driven, number driven, and I held on to everything way too long. I tried to control everything I possibly could for as long as I possibly could. And I think that hindered my growth while I was building. I probably would have went a lot faster had I kind of released some of the stuff. And another thing too, be careful who you trust. I trusted family, and I got burned, you know, kind of some things towards the end there happened, and probably wasn't the best thing. But I guess the best way to answer that would be go off of numbers, data. Don't use emotion, because as you're building it, and you're using your emotion is what holding you back. That's what held me back anyways. And then once I got into CEO Warrior and realized that, you know, what we were trying to do was completely just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what stuck, you know, we started accelerating, and I'd never even had a thought in my mind that it was possible to sell and exit. I just thought that, you know, someday I'll just shut the company down. So when we got in that mindset and started going towards that, there was a couple things that I held on to that I should not have held on to. And that was basically emotion. You know, I let emotion drive a lot of my decisions, and I let family kind of do the same thing. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome honesty. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to go to Gary now with another twist on the same question. And it was asked actually by Jason Birdsong in the chat. So I'm going to ask you, it's kind of a similar thread as these other guys, but a little twist. And that is, Gary, what were the 3 biggest things that you started doing or stopped doing to help you go from 1 million to 20 million in 4 years? You know, kind of rapid growth in 4 years. What were the top 3 biggest things you did or stopped doing?
Awesome. Yes. So that's easy for me. For me, it was my my growth had to happen first. And so, I realized I did not have the skill set to grow from 1.5 million to 20 million. And I was, had 30 employees, but to step out in front of 150 employees, I had to be dynamic. I had to push. And so that's number one. Number two is growing a team. I would take my skill sets, the thing that I would learn, and I turn right around and teach my leadership team, because you're going to have a leadership team to exit and be worth the 10 plus multiples. And they could start making decisions that I would have made. They knew what I would do. They were help leading the team. And then the third thing is you got to create a vision for your company. They have to see in the future where you're going and where they are going and be excited about it. And so those are the main three things. The biggest obstacle for me is spending years of, not having the guts, I would say, to make big decisions and not having the confidence. And so having a coach like Mike A to say, don't fucking do that, do this. And I just fucking do it. And so that was a huge difference in making big decisions, because I know that they were there and they've been there and they've done what I was trying to do.
That's really great. Thank you. And then I'm going to go to Mike. And Mike, actually, instead of talking about your exit, I know you've helped a number of people. You've helped guide them or give them insight through an exit. You might have to remind me of the number, because I know it's sometimes higher than my tiny brain will recall. But what do you find, Mike, that you wish that those exiting owners understood about wealth and freedom before they get there? What do you wish that they understood?
Before they get to the exit moment?
Yeah, before they get to the exit, what do you think they should have kind of thought differently or understood differently about wealth and freedom?
Well, Gary and Jason are both great examples. I'll give you the answer, what to think about before it. I think Gary did a great job of saying what you got to think about to get there. And Gary and Jason have both been tremendously incredible students. I didn't have to try to convince them how to win. They just trusted it and they implemented, and they won. And every one of us, including me, and I don't want to talk for Gary and Jason, I think every one of us have had a moment of feeling like we should just quit. So the one I would say before the exit, don't quit. Don't quit. Number two, be really clear on what you'll do and won't do. Because if you want 5 million on an exit, and you say you won't settle for less, you'll be surprised when 4 million's on the table. So like, what's the low number? What's the high number? And I'm still a huge fan, Aaron, of, I believe you got to know what are you going to do next? And not everybody figures that out. Like it's a tough journey. Like Gary, he stayed on for a while. I didn't have the endurance he had to tolerate people. He's way kinder than me. I don't play nice with people, but you better know what's next, because you can get lost. And if you don't know what's next, you got to find it really quick. And somebody taught me that, because all of a sudden Gary's used to, 150 people in front of a room, man. It's exciting. And then you sell, and eventually that all goes away. Even the employees you hate are gone. At least you had somebody to yell at before. Now there's nobody to yell at, nobody even be mad at. And I think before you exit, you got to have that. I wish I could have, and Gaines has been, anybody on here, Gaines has been through every exit with me, along with many other clients. So he's heard me curse about myself and other people more than probably anybody here besides my own beautiful wife. I think you got to know, if you're going to exit, how you're going to go through that process, because due diligence is like hell on earth times 3. And if I could rewind time, any other exit I do, I'm just going to make it like Zen monk, man. I'm just going to be flexible and roll with the things, because I believe, I don't know about Gary and Jason, it'd be great to ask them. I think it takes a couple of years off your life, due diligence. I think you lose hair, you gray a little bit, you cry a little bit, you're confused, and then you're over and you're thankful of it. But I think it pulls some fucking life off of you that you got to build back on. So yeah.
That's great. All right, everyone,
Well,
throw in the chat bar. We got amazing gold from all four panelists in that one. So throw in the chat bar a big insight, a takeaway, an action step that you learned from Jason, Gary, and Michael and Mike. Throw that in the chat bar. And I'm going to go on to my next question, which perfectly was sort of the way these always work, already hinted at by Mike's answer here. Keeping an eye on that chat bar, so make sure. Like menopause, dig in and don't look back. Okay, good. Yeah, keep throwing that in. I'm going on to my next question. Next question here, and Jason, I'm going to go to you first. I couldn't tell if you're adjusting your chair or looking to run away. So you sat back down, so that's good. Then I'll give you the question. So, Jason, we've talked about, you sold, the money hit the account, you learned some lessons along the way. Now, you wake up day one of the freedom, day one of that peace of having the money and not having the business and so on. So in that way you've achieved the dream, right? You've achieved the exit dream. But what part of it was real and what part of it turned out to be different than what you expected? What part was real? What part turned out to be different than what was expected?
The part that was real was obviously the money in the bank and the exit and leaving everything, completely walking out. The part that was not expected is, what the fuck do I do now? I found myself, which Mike knows this, in a very weird place, like not knowing who I was anymore. I lost my identity. You think that you think you know everything. Like, when you're working the business, all you're thinking is like, I can't wait. I can't, I'm almost there. I'm going to sell, we're getting to that point, whatever. But then when you're on the other side of it, you're like, holy fuck, what the hell do I do? You miss that chaos. You miss, I didn't have 130 people, but you miss standing in front of your people every morning, or, on the days you come in and talk to people, listening what's going on, the chaos and stuff like that. You miss all that. And then you find yourself alone and you start figuring out what else you're going to do. So I think for me, the unexpected was what I thought I was going to do is not what happened.